Hello, and welcome to the Goal Setting Academic Workshop. My name is Deja DePass, and myself and my colleague Suzanne Hamilton are student learning coordinators and academic coaches in the LRN. We provide a plethora of asynchronous and in-person academic workshops throughout the semester, so please keep an eye out for those. Before we dive into our topic, I want to provide you with some reflection questions to consider. Have you been successful with goal setting in the past? And think about what has specifically worked for you when setting a goal. On the flip side, what has held you back or preventing you from achieving your goals? For this topic today, our agenda is what specifically to consider, being smart, making a plan, setting your timeline, how to stay accountable and handle setbacks, and why is goal setting important? So, some things to consider. First off, a goal is not an objective. Typically, an objective is part of your overarching goal. A goal is not a resolution, and a goal is not a mission. Instead, a goal is a vision for the future. It's typically time sensitive, and it is large in nature. We like to say a goal is a dream with a deadline. One important thing when goal setting to consider is the type of goal setting. So a type of goal setting that folks often use are SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. SMART goals typically can help you achieve your goals, and we're going to go through each of these one by one. First off, specific. Your goal must be as specific and clear as possible. When creating your goal, you want to think of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Specific goals allow you to track your progress in a simple manner. And the more specific your goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. Next, measurable. You want to consider the end result and how you're going to know that you accomplished your goal. Consider how many things you are going to need to do between the starting line and the finish line. And numerical and statistical analysis are not the only ways to measure something. For instance, if you have a goal of being happy, how are you going to measure yourself being happy? That's more qualitative. Consider who and what is involved in you achieving this goal, because having others involved or not involved can drastically affect the outcome. Next, attainable. Is your goal realistic and is it within reach? You want to consider your capabilities and different constraints such as time, finances, or resources. Will you have enough intrinsic or external motivation to complete the goal? It is incredibly hard to complete a goal without being motivated to actually take the steps necessary. And can this goal be broken down into parts to make it more manageable? If it can't, then maybe you need to reconsider this goal. Next, we have relevant. So, will completing this goal have a positive effect on your life? If not, it's not a goal that's worth it. Is the goal worth the time, energy, and resources that you're going to put into it? Because you shouldn't put in more than you're going to receive. Consider how the benefits of this goal line up with your aspirations, and does it align with your values? And lastly, we have timely. So you want to ask specific questions about the deadline and what can be accomplished in that time. Consider, are you able to avoid procrastination with this deadline? If you're going to have a specific end date for your time frame for your deadline, is that something that you need? Or do you just need a general idea of when you should complete your goal? And find the balance between pushing yourself and putting too much pressure on yourself. Next, with our goals, we want to consider making a plan. So ideally, you should focus on one goal at a time, maybe at the most 2. When we start making too many goals, our progress gets diluted. You want to do some research from those who have completed the goal before you and see what tips and tricks there are out there. You want to create your timeline for completing your goal and know roughly when you're going to start and when you're going to finish. You want to create a tangible way to track your progress And you want to figure out how you're going to reward yourself and work through your setbacks. So now here are just some tips for setting your timeline. One way you can do it is to go in numerical order and work out all the steps and objectives from day one to the finish line. That's a really organized way and very sequential way to do it. If that doesn't work for you, you could do the exact opposite. You can start at the end of your deadline and kind of figure out and work your way backwards through it, writing down, here's what I need to do at the end. Here's what's going to lead me to the end. Here's what's going to lead me to the step before leading me to the end. And if those two organized kind of direct ways don't work for you, you can choose instead to jump around. Figure out a few crucial steps and then find a way to connect them. Now, here's some tips for handling setbacks, because oftentimes when working through goals, setbacks are bound to happen. So first, you want to make sure you accept responsibility and eliminate the blame. Then you want to get comfortable with discomfort. Having a setback feels uncomfortable, and you have to identify why it happened and get uncomfortable with that feeling. You want to set a time limit for disappointment. It is okay to be disappointed about having a setback while working towards your goals, but ultimately, spending too much time and dwelling on it will still keep you from achieving your goal. You want to instead take a step back, you want to evaluate, and you want to learn from it. Figure out why your setback happened and what you can do to prevent it in the future or to work through it. You want to remember your motivation and why you initially started aiming to achieve this goal. You want to jump right back in instead of holding out, waiting for this setback, and thinking, oh, maybe I'll start over again. Just jump right back into it. And you want to focus on progress, not perfection. Now, you want to figure out ways to keep yourself accountable. One way could be finding an accountability buddy or a network of folks that will check in on your goal as you're going through it. You want to make sure you come up with a motivating reward system. What is going to keep you on track with your goal and actually motivate you to complete it? And then you want to stick to your timeline and schedule as strictly as you can, with obviously some wiggle room because we're all human. Now, why is this all important? Well, first, goal setting allows you to take control of your direction in terms of various areas in your life. Goals can provide you with focus, and goal setting can help you work on different skills such as motivation, time management, organization, and a plethora of others. And the more detailed and thought out our goals are, the more likely we are to complete them. And that is all. Thank you for listening to this academic workshop today. If you have any questions, feel free to email tutor@arcadia.edu or stop by the LRN. Thank you very much.